Hey everyone, welcome back to TryHackMe's Advent of Cyber 2. I am Dark, and today we're going to be doing day 21, time for some elf forensics. So this is going to be continuing off of the PowerShell that we were looking at yesterday, but rather we're going to be learning how we can use PowerShell in a very basic sense to start performing forensics. Alright, let's go ahead and dive right in. So to get started, I've gone ahead and deployed the box attached to this room, and you can see the credentials, or rather the IP has auto-populated for me, and then I've also deployed the attack box in this case. So we'll go ahead and dive right into the text now. One of the little helpers logged into his workstation only to realize that the database connector file has been replaced, and he can't find the naughty list anymore. Probably someone on the naughty list that did that. Furthermore, upon executing the database connector file, a taunting message was deployed, hinting that the file had been moved to another location. Elf McEager has been notified, and he will put the pieces together to find the database connector file. Man, these guys just can't catch a break. This is just problems every single day. Task: find what the database connector file is hidden using forensic-like investigative techniques. And this is just a really, really nice introduction to forensics, especially if you are interested in becoming a forensic investigator or an incident response handler. Having these basic techniques down are going to make your life a lot easier, and you can do a lot of little things very quickly with techniques like this. You can use the attack box and Ramina, which is an RDP and VNC client, to connect to the remote machine. Make sure the remote machine is deployed before proceeding. So we'll go ahead and we're going to go up to applications, and it might be under other. All right, we're going to launch it the way I know how to. And we'll do that. And we'll give it just a moment. I'm not sure what the password is. We'll try Callie. Let me go ahead and pause this, and we'll give this a try here in a moment. All right, we're back. So I went ahead and just closed out of it. That's not something that we need to worry about, but it'll bring up Ramita right after that. So we can see that we have RDP here, and we can go ahead and click plus to start filling out the credentials for the IP, and then the credentials for how we connect to this. So for the server within this, we're going to go ahead and provide the IP that we're logging into, 238. Now note, this is a Windows machine that we're logging into, so give it about 5 minutes before you try to log in. It can take a little while to come up just because Windows it's heftier than Linux. And then for the username, we're going to do little helper, and then the password is I love snow with a 5 as the S. And we'll go ahead and save that and then connect. We'll go ahead and accept our certificate here. We just need to move it over, and maybe we'll give it just a second, see if it's going to play nice. Looks like the color settings were being a little bit finicky with us. I can go ahead and we'll see. Here, let me go ahead and pause this, and I will fix that, and I'll show you what I ended up having to do. Oh, it looks like we had to change the color settings over here. So I'll go ahead and pause that, and then we will go ahead and log right in. Okay, so I've gone ahead and entered that in. We're going to go ahead and save that as the default, and then we will connect. And we'll give it just a moment. It'll automatically connect since we said that we're accepting that certificate, and we'll give it just a moment to load. So note that this can take up to 3 minutes to load. I give it usually 5 minutes, so start this, go grab a drink or something, and then just come back to it. Just takes a moment. We will continue on our journey with PowerShell. With PowerShell, we can obtain file hashes of files on the endpoint. A file hash, or simply a hash, is a mathematical algorithm that analyzes the data of the file and outputs a value, which is its hash. File hashes let us know whether a file is legitimate or not based on its verified file hash. So we're comparing against something that we knew that it was the file hash beforehand, and then we can compare it against the new one that we're checking. If it's the same, we know that it hasn't been messed with. If it's different, we know that it's been replaced or otherwise tampered with. And again, we can see it here. If the file has been replaced or altered, the file hash will be different. There are exceptions to this rule, but we will not dive into that. Sometimes you can get hash collisions, but again, that's very, very rare, and it's something that, in our case, it's not going to happen. For now, it's safe to know that a file hash acts like a signature for a file. With PowerShell, we can obtain the hash of a file by running the command get-file hash, and then we specify our algorithm and then the file. And let's go ahead, we'll scroll down, we'll go ahead and open up a PowerShell window, as we're going to use it here in just a moment. Okay. So we've got that, clear the screen there, and that might be a little bit small for you guys, but hopefully you'll be able to full screen that and see it just fine. So again, we can use this command to get the file hash. By comparing the verified file hash to the above commandlet's output, you will know whether the file is authentic or not. At this point, you should be confident that a file sitting in the documents folder is not legitimate. So if we go ahead and cd to our documents folder, we can go ahead and type dir and see what's here. And it looks like we have our db file hash.txt. And if we go ahead and do type on that, or we can do more rather, let's do that. We can see that we have our file hash, and if we go ahead and do get file hash dash algorithm MD5, and then we want db.exe, which is just lovely. We can see that these are different. That shouldn't be that way. We know that that is a red flag. This is a nice way that you can go through and just start doing basic checks. Whenever you download a file from the internet, for that matter, and you're going to be running it as administrator, it's worthwhile to do this check as well to make sure that it is the same file that the site was telling you that it was downloading. And most sites will provide this file hash for you. They'll provide often enough multiple forms of it, the MD5, the SHA 512, and some other ones. They give you a whole bunch of them. But it's nice to know that what you downloaded is what you wanted to download. At this point, you should be confident that the file study, the documents folder, is not legitimate. If you run the file, you can see that not much information is given, only the hint that the original file was moved to another location within the system. So we can go ahead and we will run db.exe, and we'll see that it's going to attempt to connect to the Best Festival Company's database, and we'll see what happens. While that's running, let's go ahead and take a look at this. Another tool you can use to inspect a binary file .exe file is strings.exe. Strings scans the file, you pass it for strings of a default length of 3 or more characters. And there we go. We can see, haha, guess what? Your database connector file has been moved and you'll never find it. I guess you can't query the naughty list anymore. And then we have a nice emoji. That's wonderful. This definitely was done by someone on the naughty list, and that's quite clever. I'll give him that. Even though you could just log in manually and just, access the database otherwise, but, if you're on the naughty list, you probably deserve to be there, and you probably, haven't figured out that you could just log into the database manually if you really needed to. So string scans the file, you pass it for strings of a default length of 3 or more characters. You can use the strings tool to peek inside this mysterious executable file. The tool is located within the tools directory. So we can go ahead and run this with, let's see, there we go. C tools strings64.exe, and then we'll accept the EULA, and then we'll run it against the db.exe file. And we'll see what we get. We should have our strings that were printed that will pop out here as well. Yeah, here we can see all that, and we can see, looks like there is a whole bunch of useful information in here, along with the flag. So we'll get to that in just a moment. That looks particularly fun. In the output, you should notice a command related to ADS. You know this by the end of the PowerShell command -stream. So if we go ahead and take a look through here, let's see if we can find that. I will go ahead and pause. I will find it here in just a moment, and we will get it in just a second. All right, and we're back. I just glazed right past it. So this is the command that we're looking for, and we can see the -stream, which is related to ADS or alternative data streams. So alternative data streams, ADS, is a file attribute specific to Windows NTFS, New Technology File System. Every file has at least one data stream, the $data, and an ADS allows files to contain more than one stream of data. Natively, Windows Explorer doesn't display ADS to the user. However, there are third-party executables that can be used to view this data, but PowerShell gives you the ability to view ADS for files just within this. Makes it nice and easy. Malware writers have used ADS to hide data in an endpoint, however, but not all of its uses are malicious. When you download a file from the internet onto an endpoint, there are identifiers written to ADS to identify that it was downloaded from the internet. The command to view ADS using PowerShell is this one right there. So we can do get-item, and then we specify the path to the file, and then we're going to look at the -stream star to get all of the ADS information. There are a few lines of output when you run this command. Pay particularly close attention to stream and length. So we'll go ahead and we're going to do that on the file that that we're working with. So we'll do get-item, maybe item. It's going to keep doing this. Hold on. There we go. Get-item-path, and we'll just type it in, and I will scroll down to it in a moment. Maybe. Oh, I needed a space there. Let me go ahead. We're going to make this a little bit easier. And I'm going to shrink the window just a small bit so all of it fits on the screen. There we go. Now we're cooking with gas. Okay. So we need a space there. Okay. Now we have our ADS data. So there are a few lines of output when you run this command. Pay particularly close attention to stream and length. And we can see stream and then length down here. And it looks like we have two. So we have the $data, which is our length there, and that's going to be our standard one. And then we do hide DB, and that has a little bit of a longer length. Interesting. Recall that the database connector is an executable file, and it's hidden within an alternative data stream for another file. We can use a built-in Windows tool, Windows Management Instrumentation, to launch the hidden file. So it looks like we've just hidden it inside the other file. Pretty clever. The command to run to launch the hidden executable hiding within ADS is this. So we can do wmic process call create, and then we'll do resolve-path, and we'll do db.exe, and then we want our stream name there at the end. So in the stream name, we want hide db, and that should do it. And then it should actually run our connector as we intended. So we'll go ahead. In this case, I've gone ahead and shown a lot of the answers. So just don't pause the video at this point if you don't want to grab the answers. However, I'm going to go through and grab them all now. I'm going to pause for just a moment to let this run. Once this is done running, we'll go ahead and run through these to answer all the questions. So give it a second, and it looks like we've got that hit there. So we will go ahead and start filling this in. I'm actually going to grab this flag first, maybe. And now we can grab that back to the clipboard, and we can go ahead and put that in there. Now let's see what else we want. Read the contents of the file within the documents folder. What is the hash for the db.exe file? If we scroll up, we should be able to grab that. And maybe not. We'll go ahead and run our command again. Actually, we're going to grab this flag because I just scrolled past it. So again, that is going to be within the strings command that we can get this flag. And we'll put that there. I guess we're going backwards this time. What is the file hash of the mysterious executable within the documents folder? So we're going to go ahead and run that hash command twice. We'll clear that, and we can just up arrow. So we'll do more on that. That's going to give us our first hash here. And again, we saw that this was not the same as the file hash of the file that we're ultimately executing, meaning that it's dubious even without us running it. And we'll up arrow to this to get our file hash of this one. And again, very, very different. And as we see from looking through this, it's obviously not the same file, but very cleverly they've hidden the actual file that we want inside of it. All right, that is going to do it for day 21. John will be doing the video for tomorrow, so I will have his channel linked in the video description below. I will see you guys again for day 23. And otherwise, until then, happy hacking.